Hello everyone. You know in this Parliament that I've been named to be the Conservative member on the Environment Committee. It's an interesting job. One of the things I've had to do this week was come here to Montreal for a quick day of meetings before I head back to Calgary this evening. That meeting was with the Norwegian delegation here at COP15. Very interesting meeting. There's a lot of similarities between Norway and Alberta and Canada in general. Norway is an oil and gas exporter. It's a large producer in Europe, and it does a lot of exploration actually in Canada as well, especially off the East Coast. Nevertheless, a bunch of oil and gas is produced and exported by Norway. Their economy itself is powered, electricity grid is 91% hydro power. So they have a large amount of electric vehicles in their fleet. About 27% of their fleet now is electric vehicles, but about 77% of the new sales are electric vehicles. So they're a country that's able to do that. But they also have their silos of energy distribution, just like we have in Canada. We have a system, a grid in Canada that differs by province because the provinces are actually responsible for producing and distributing energy. They have the same thing in Norway where the northern grid isn't connected to the southern grid. So sometimes you have energy gaps between the two. But one of the things they told me this summer that was interesting is that the price of power went up in Europe. As a result, the price of power went up in Norway. Inasmuch as all the problems were in Europe, the pricing of hydro, which is also exported via cable to other parts of Europe, went up by tenfold at some times in Norway. So think about that in your power bill if you're suddenly faced with a 10 times increase in your power. The link between the cost of natural gas to power providers and the cost of electricity are linked because they're the same thing. In much of the power, the electricity in Europe is produced with natural gas. Much of it in Alberta, about 85%, is still produced with natural gas. If it went up, the price of natural gas went up in Alberta the way it went up in Europe this summer, we would have faced similar problems. Now, there was a program in Norway to take care of individuals whose price went up significantly. But what fell through the cracks, and they really discussed it with me, was a lot of businesses had to declare bankruptcy. They're in the process of that. A lot of companies that are facing higher energy bills are looking for where they can actually move their business that doesn't have such high energy costs. These are interesting discussions. They're things we have to keep our eye on as we look at this energy transition or transformation. Whatever we're doing as far as our energy supply goes, we've got to keep that in mind, make sure we're considering everything that goes into the mix and decarbonize the world with sensible solutions. If I don't see you before Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and have a great New Year.